What are you doing?
Molly's kind of wanted a little bit more done, so let's go ahead and knock it out. Not gonna scorch it.
It's already dry as it is. Because I had to throw it back in there with the rest of the off. So I made it dry. Well, at least I'll be able to do this now.
Why the sad music?
Because I need... You're on camera, you know that, right?
Well, you hadn't started anything, so I'm assuming you'll edit that out.
It's a stream, Dad.
I've
been telling you that for 3 days.
No,
Yeah.
I thought you were still in setup mode. Thank you very much. I did not know that you were currently actually.
Well, it's only been it's only been for a minute.
Oh.
That's not steaming the onion.
Hmm?
That's not steaming the onion.
Look at this.
Mom says that she can have the onion only if it's steamed. You're sauteing the onion.
She said,
I'm still trying to figure everything out, so we're gonna... What?
Yeah, it's like NC-17 at the latest.
Did you just say NC-17? For what?
That book.
As you can see, This muffin tin has been with me for a lot longer than this one. Personally, I like this one better. It's been kinder to me. Hey Laura, what's up? Tell me about your day. Do you have a fun time at work? I doubt it because it's retail, but tell me about it anyway. World's biggest. This is huge. So is she good with the onions? Okay. As you can see, I'm also helping with dinner at the same time. Nope, not that. Yeah. Nope, not that. It's just a test. Here we go.
Test one.
Here. Okay, well that's gonna have to cook for a while. Alright. There's still some things that I'm trying to get done here. As you can see, dinner is being made off to the right. Okay. So while the vegetables are cooking, There we go. Okay. Just making sure, I'm making sure through OBS that you can see everything, so I gotta move the mixer. Admire the batter. Love it. See the batter. This is just typical vanilla batter. And occasionally I'm gonna reach over and mess with the veggies a little bit. So let's see if I can get a good zoom in here. Let's look at those delicious pastry cups. That means that the chicken's gotta come out. Alrighty. This is probably one of the easiest ways to get consistent cupcakes. Don't worry if you get it on the pan. I do it all the time. Although you might want to scrape the bottom so you don't get too messy. You don't even have to fill the ice cream scoop up all the way. Ah! There we go. There we go. Just like that. It's that simple. Let's reach over and mess with vegetables a little bit more. They smell real good, if I do say so myself. Alrighty. Boom. One of the easiest ways to get things done. Sometimes these tip over, so make sure it's not too top heavy. You can actually use an ice cream scoop for just about anything. You can use it for rice, you can use it for mashed potatoes, you can use it for risotto, anything. You need a specific 2-ounce, portion for. It's really, I don't use the ice cream scoop for actual ice cream, honestly. Because who needs only a 2-ounce portion of ice cream, am I right? Alright. Let's load up the next pan. And even still, this is way too much batter for just these two pans. I have a 24 cupcake pan, but it's too big for the oven itself, so I have to find some other way to deal with it, to use it. Whoop. Okay, well, that one's gonna be a little big. Alrighty, there we go. All 24. I still have more batter to use, too. Alright. I'm putting those in the oven at 350 degrees. Let's mess with the dinner over here for a bit. The bottom's looking nice and brown, however, there's a little bit of water. Let's see if you can come over. Uh-oh, we paused. Okay, we're back. Sort of. I'm going to very gently move the camera back to the baking station. And I'm probably just going to keep it there. I'm not gonna move it. We're not gonna mess with it. It's just gonna stay right there. But on the bright side, the veggies are done. Oh, they look pretty? Alright, these are about to become very important colors here. But first, let me wipe up the little mess down here. There we go. First things first. Cupcakes are setting up, but they're not nearly done, so we're about to get started on all the buttercream. Alright, so I'm going to drag my KitchenAid all the way up here. Let's see if we can get a good view inside the bowl here. Ooh, there we go. That is a sexy bowl. There we go. Hey, Mom. Hey. This butter is extremely soft. I left it out for about maybe 4, maybe even 5 hours. It's got to be room temperature to make sure you don't have any chunks of butter in your buttercream. The thing is about buttercream, especially the kind of buttercream I make, is that it can be a little messy. Because I'm about to use several pounds of confectioner sugar. But luckily, since they're cupcakes, we don't need the frosting, we don't need the buttercream to be too soft, like for spreading consistency like we do for cakes. So we really just need it to crust over. People call it crusting buttercream, but buttercream is really supposed to crust over no matter what you do with it. So all you need really is just a little bit of cold half and half. If you have whole cream, I would suggest you use whole cream, but for now, it's just half and half. Alright. I can't seem to locate a pair of scissors. Here we go. Alright. So a couple of things before we get started. Whip your butter just a little bit. Just a little bit, because this is room temperature butter. We don't want it to melt. That would be worst case scenario. Alright. It's going to look just like that. You want to add your confectioner sugar just a little bit at a time. You don't want to add a whole bunch and then get a face full of confectioner sugar. It's happened to me so many times. It will probably happen to me again. It's just one of those typical things that happens every so often. I don't like to add the vanilla until I get the first bag of confectioner sugar in. Or at least the first half of the bag, depending on how much I'm making. I sometimes use the paddle attachment, but I'm using the whisk attachment because I want this frosting to have a certain quality to it. It's something like really soft and it's got a lot of air in it. You use the whisk attachment when you want to incorporate a lot of air into something you bake. So I usually use it for meringue and whipped cream. So this is the attachment you use when you've got to make a meringue. I think it's going a little bit faster, I think. I'm in the wrong window. There we go. When it comes to like stirring around the buttercream and everything, I usually get it in all sorts of places. Like this right here, what you see for my mixer right now is best case scenario. It's usually covered in powdered sugar. Right, that looks good. Just a little bit more. I'm really trying to protect my webcam. It's new, it's shiny, it's lovely, so I want to make sure it stays like I want to make sure it doesn't die. Okay. It's starting to get a little stiff and a little chalky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the last bit of confectioner's sugar here. And then I'm going to add a wee bit of half and half. Provided I can get it open. There we go. Alright, this goes in the trash. Why don't you take out another pan? There's another pan on the stove. I didn't do that. Oh, well, you're the only one in here. I thought you were the one who did it. Dad? What's this?
Oh, your mother wanted to do. I thought she was gonna. I thought you were.
I think she wanted to make tacos, not quesadillas, Dad. Sorry about the interruption. We're discussing dinner. This mixer is actually a hand-me-down I got from a good friend of mine before her wedding. She let me she gave it to me as sort of a present for doing the catering for her wedding. And I've gotten good use of it ever since. Okay, nope, we're still not done with the frosting. But this is when I open the world's biggest vanilla bottle. If I can get it open. Yeah, see how it's still not open. Alright, there we go. Perfection. Let's move the vegetables. This is about sweets. Let's move the vegetables. Alright. Okay. This is probably not a good practice to follow. I don't measure vanilla. Okay? This is how I measure vanilla. Looks good. That's not a good practice to uphold, but it's the way I do it. So always pour in a little bit of extra with your vanilla, because sugar actually really overpowers vanilla extract. At least I think so. So we're going to add a little more. There we go. Alright, this is really looking really fluffy. I love it. Alright. You just keep pouring. Keep at it. And I'm going to add just a wee bit more of the half and half. You think I get better at measuring, but no, I never do. When it comes to buttercream, I actually use proportions. I don't really use, I use proportions, not so much cups and ounces and stuff like that. I use 3 parts sugar, 2 parts butter, 1 part cream. But actually, for cupcake buttercream, I actually use 0.5 cream because I want it to be a little stiffer. So I need something to scrape all this down. And the cupcakes are almost done. Okay, so I've got a trusty wooden spoon here. I don't really use the wooden spoons for cooking because they do absorb bacteria. So I just use them for baking and such. Or if I'm cooking with something Teflon. But this is a brand new spoon, so. One that I actually got from work. We have really weird odds and ends at my job. We actually even sell shoes. It's a craft store. I'm not sure why we sell shoes. And they're not even like shoes that you can tie-dye. They're just shoes. They're like flip-flops. They're flip-flops and sandals. Some of them have heels. Some of them don't. It's kind of weird and a little superfluous if you ask me. But, you know. No one's asking me. That should be my job description. No one's asking me. Alright. Okay. So, more confectioner's sugar. This is like the most lengthy buttercream tutorial ever. But, I hope it's useful to you. Because this is going to be bomb buttercream. That's what it's going to be. Whoop, see? I got a little carried away with the confectioner sugar there for a sec. Okay. So I think it might be finally time to change the attachment here. I'm not quite done with the confectioner sugar, but I don't think we're going to be able to go any farther than this. Hello, Jen. How are you? Sorry if I'm not responding to the chat as easily as I usually do. The chat is very small from where I'm standing. You see that? There's just a piece of renegade buttercream that just flew off like, I'm free! Alrighty. So it's about time for me to change my attachment. I think I have incorporated enough air into this frosting. It's nice and pliable. Look at that. Has a lot of sugar in it. Now, you know what? I don't think I am going to replace my paddle attachment. I don't think I'm going to replace this with a paddle attachment. I think I'm going to keep this. Oh no! Well, I'm glad you have it back. Or at least you're using up your 4G or your 3G to hang out with me. Alright, and the rest of this goes into... And then more half and half. Alright. Yeah, see, it gets a little stubborn after a while. But it'll get better. Just gotta turn it up a bit higher. Yeah, see, now the confectioner sugar is starting to go everywhere. And I'm actually gonna let this go at high speed for a good minute here. and down. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Jen. Alright, this goes back in its cup. Yeah, everything is going to get its own cup. Yeah, that's enough. Alright, half and half. Let's taste the buttercream. Let me turn up the music too. Hang on. It's not very exciting music, but it's royalty free, so. See, look how it doesn't. It rubs off all my fingers, unlike the other one. It was really tacky. It was really tacky before, but now it's all smooth and creamy. And I'm totally not going to lick this off my fingers. Okay, so the cupcakes are done. Okay. We're going to set this aside, and I'm going to show you how the cupcakes are supposed to look. I might be able to show you guys different kinds of cupcake patterns today, not just rainbow ones. Right. These are the cupcakes fresh out of the oven. These ones got a little big. This one right here. But you know what? It'll be fine. We'll just eat that one first. Alright, I'm going to turn this very delicately over. We don't want a repeat of last time. There we go. See? They're nice and firm. They bounce back. They are kind of light in color, but that's because I don't use as much sugar as a usual cupcake recipe. I try not to since my cupcakes usually have filling and frosting in them, I try not to make the cake too sweet. Cuz I don't know, to me it kind of defeats the purpose. Like, if your cupcake is too sweet and you've got all the different buttercreams and all the different fillings, it kind of defeats the purpose of the cupcake, in my opinion. So these are going in the fridge. It shouldn't take long at all for these cupcakes to cool down. And an important note here, if your fridge does not like having hot stuff in it, I would advise taking the cupcakes out of the pans before you put them in the fridge. But since my fridge is okay with stuff like that, it cools them down pretty fast, and these are Wilton pans, which cool down in maybe like 5-10 minutes if you take all the stuff out of them, so they're fine. Mom, say hi. Hello. Everybody can hear you. It's fine.
No, I mean, I don't want anybody to see me.
You're fine. The camera is only pointing to one section of our kitchen. Whoops. Why am I putting this in the fridge? Did you see that? Yeah. Make sure you put the dishes in the sink. sure that you organize all this stuff like I haven't had it organized. Alright, so we're going to go back to the buttercream real quick. Provided I can actually get this off. There we go. And see how it just kind of falls through the whisk? That's what I was going for. That way, it will be easy just to do this. And push it through. I wish I had something a bit thinner, but I'm not going to go at this with a knife. I've learned my lesson before. In my more novice days. But that should be most of it. There we go. This is mine. This is mine. Okay, here's where things get a little, I don't want to say complicated, but they don't get easy. You could have made a joke and said sticky. Wait, Oscar, sticky. I missed it. I did. I missed an opportunity. Mom's funnier than I am. Just saying. And sometimes, is this kitchen floor ever gonna get mopped? All right. The importance of the lollipop sticks is that they are disposable for what I'm about to do next. Now we're not going to use all the buttercream for all 4 of these bowls. And actually, I'm going to put the excess batter away for now. Okay, so we're going to put about a spoonful of each into each bowl. Maybe a little more, depending on, you know, just eyeball it. I usually do. All right. Then you need 4 spoons for each. Here's the thing about gel food coloring. Gel food coloring is very, very, very strong, and it will very easily color your buttercream. So you don't really have to worry about adding too little, but you do have to worry about adding too much. So that's why I use a lollipop stick, so you can just dip it in and do that. That's it. And then I always put it in the cup right side up. And you do that with each color. So I'm using pink. I'm using pink instead of red because red, everybody knows this already, but red has a specific taste to it. And we want to avoid that. Even if it's no taste, it still has a certain quality to it. Green. This is the right green, right? Good. I had to think about it for a minute. I was like, this is the right green. Oh, no. No kissing sticks. Ah, kissing sticks. Why? There we go. Place that aside. And you can get gel food coloring at any store, really. I get these at work. So, just a normal craft store will do. There's a little bit of blue. Okay. No kissing sticks. And here's the thing. It stains your fingers for days. That's just something you have to put up with. Alright. Make sure you assign your spoon to a specific bowl because we don't want to be mixing colors. Alright. Colors which? I should probably put this up close. I know a lot of people like to see stuff like this. So now we have a nice little pale yellow. I might want it darker, but I'll see how the other colors turn out. Like I said, you can always put more. You can always put more in, but you can't take more out. That's a very good rule to come by when you're coloring buttercream. Okay, so we have yellow. Let's see how blue looks. Blue is looking pretty nice. I'm not sure if it comes across on the camera quite yet. The fridge is open. I understand. Alright, and that's a nice pale kind of baby shower blue. I will tell you, when it comes to baby shower cakes, the newest bane of my existence would have to be the guns or glitter cakes. I think they're so stupid. I told my best friend that I'm gonna be really upset if she has me do her baby shower cake and has me do a guns or glitter, because for some reason all my friends' husbands are gun enthusiasts, except for maybe one, and he's like a weapons enthusiast. Like, he likes like old style weapons. Like, he has like one of those old Scottish style claymores that he just kind of keeps around the house. I'm not sure what he's ever gonna use it for. Alright. So that's green. You know what? I might get blue to be a bit darker. But let's see how pink looks. I have a feeling that pink is going to be a bit too light. But we're going to look anyway. But, if I'm ever having shoulder pain, and I complain about having shoulder pain, this is why. Because mixing buttercream is no joke. At least with your hands. Whoa! Alrighty. Alright. I actually thought the pink wouldn't be dark enough. vibrant to me than any of the other colors. Alright, let's wipe off the countertop a little here. It's getting a little messy. Alright, let's add just a wee more blue. Just a wee. There we go. Alright, yeah, that looks a little darker. That's more of what I wanted. Alright. Those are all the different colors I want for now. Let's move the sticks to the side, because we might need those later, depending on how much longer I want the stream to go. So let's go ahead and put the tops back on. It turns out I didn't need to use the teal. I thought I would have to, because sometimes I don't like how the pale blue looks, depending on what I'm using with it, but it looks fine, so I'm not going to need it. There's no way to ever get these things to look neat. They're always going to look stained. They're always going to look kind of grody. Just because those colors, it's food dye, so it's dye. It gets everywhere. Okay, so we are going to set the buttercream aside for now. Alright, there we go. And we're going to come back down to earth just a little bit. There we go, much better. Okay, then we're gonna very slowly move the camera again. Slowly, slowly. There we go. All the colors. Isn't that pretty? Alright, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Alright, I'm going to use this small lull to check up on the cupcakes. They're not quite cool yet. So this is basically when you have this moment, clean up around you, you know, set up your station. I actually probably don't need these anymore, so I'm going to set them off to the side. I'm going to keep the color sticks around, but I'm going to put this away. Put the extra pan away. You know what, I'm going to keep the oven on just in case. See if we want to do another set of cupcakes at some point. Alright, you guys can use this time to ask me any questions you might have about baking, about the cupcakes? No. Not yet. I know you guys see this shirt a lot in a lot of my streams. This is just kind of my default baking around the house shirt. I have another black shirt that I use for the same thing. So yeah, ask me some questions. What questions do you guys have? Like anything about baking, about cooking? Maybe about gluten-free cooking? I know a little bit about that as well. You can see over here what we're having for dinner, along with some soup I had earlier. Alright. time, if y'all aren't going to ask me any questions, I'm going to answer some. I get a lot of questions, actually. Here we go. I actually get a lot of questions. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. I actually get a lot of questions about, like, things that people absolutely need in their kitchen. I don't really have a list of things that people need in their kitchen, but I will say, if you want to start cooking, especially preparing your own food, cooking seriously, doing something other than Blue Apron, you have got to get a knife. A simple 8-inch chef knife will do, but make sure it's a chef knife. Like, don't start preparing dinner with a paring knife. That'll give you nothing but muscle aches, and your fingers will start cramping, and it's just not fun. Get yourself a chef knife. They're like $8 at Publix. And I have one that's really, really nice. I got it for Christmas, actually. Chef knives can cost up to $300. Unless you're a professional chef or a semi-pro like I am, don't get yourself a super expensive knife. That's just, it's not practical, and especially if you're not going to use it all the time. I will say, do not get Calphalon knives. Do not get Calphalon knives. They break in half, and if you drop them and they break in half, someone can actually get really very seriously hurt because they bounce. I've experienced it twice in my life, and it was terrifying both times. Actually, I experienced it when I was at work, which got me no sympathy from my coworkers, of course. All right, I'm going to advertise a little bit on Tumblr. There we go. All right, I'm gonna check if the audio on the stream is working. If you can hear me talking, like echoing over myself, I apologize. And if you drop them and they break in half, someone can actually get really very seriously hurt because they bounce. I've experienced it twice in my life. All right, so I'm telling the knife story apparently. Okay, there we go. Perfection. No, work with me here. There we go. All right. Just double testing the color correction here. Thank you guys for joining me on this test. Cupcakes still aren't quite ready yet. And if you're asking if I'm about to get myself some dinner, the answer is yes. I shouldn't put sour cream on it, but I'm gonna. Because sour cream is the food of the gods. Okay. I'm not going to turn the camera towards my face because this lighting is very unflattering. And frankly, my hair isn't done. So that's not happening today. But it may happen some other day. We'll see. I might have some face cam when I'm doing an Overwatch stream or something. We'll see about more Overwatch streams in the future. I've noticed something very important in my Overwatch streams, which is there is a distinct delay in the audio I'm listening to and the game as it's progressing. And that's actually seriously affecting my gameplay. Because I actually played one or two more games after I finished streaming last night, and I realized that my skill level jumped up very high because of all the audio cues that I could hear. And I need to find some way to alleviate that issue. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I need to do it by Sunday because I want to meet you guys on Twitch. I still haven't had the time to stream on Twitch. I'm getting to that at some point. Working with Twitch has been very complicated. So we're gonna see how that progresses in my relationship with them. Because they're not exactly forgiving when it comes to stuff like that. When you have issues with Twitch, they're just kind of like, so what do you want us to do about it? That's pretty much the long and short of that. These times are bad. I think it could have been good without the lima beans, but that's just a personal preference. Dinner was relatively simple. Dad and I threw some chili sauce and something called coconut mango pepper sauce onto some chicken, and we had some mixed vegetables with that. It's pretty good. I'm bragging about your cooking prowess, Dad. All right. Come on, y'all, ask me some questions. I am encouraging you to flood the chat. Is this Instagram? No, it's YouTube.
It's live?
Yes, it is.
Can you save me a little chicken for tomorrow so I can take my lunch? I know. It's enough for you. If I could just have like 4 pieces, that'll be enough.
Do you hear these conversations? Isn't domesticity great? I'm just making fun of you guys. Alright. So we're gonna check on the cupcakes. Those should be done by now. Okay, so I'm gonna give them a little bit longer. But it'll probably take long enough for me to show you how to prepare a piping bag. Since that won't fit over there, yellow is going over here. Yellow is the odd man out. We're gonna move this Very gently again. All right. So I'm going to get another cup. This time a semi-clear one, since I want y'all to see what's going on. This time we're going very low. This is how a piping bag looks. You can buy these at any given store. You can even buy them at Walmart. These, I know you can use plastic bags to top your cupcakes, but I would always shell out a little bit extra for some piping bags. Piping bags are just a bit more streamlined. They're a bit cheaper than regular Ziploc bags. Let's clean this up over here. And honestly, they're just easier to use. But Ziploc bags will pop, but it's very unlikely that a piping bag will pop. All right, this is one of my piping tips. This is a flower tip. It is actually, it's not, I usually use Wilton piping tips, but this is actually in a Teco, and it's an 846. So, I don't know if you can see that. If you could see sort of the etching right here. But this is one of my favorite piping tips for it's one of my favorite piping tips for cupcakes. So what I usually do is I put it in before I cut it. I put it in till it pulls tight, and I mark it. Then you cut at your mark, and then slip it through like that. It's that simple. Now, there are things called couplers, and I should show you one of these. These are couplers, and these are for like really hardcore cake baking, because when you're doing so many things with one particular one particular color of buttercream, you just want to switch the piping tip without having to take it out of the piping bag, wash the piping bag, and replace more buttercream. So these, all they do is they unscrew right here, and they just allow you to exchange your piping tips. If you guys saw my my Princess and the Frog cupcakes, my Princess and the Frog cake, that's where that comes from. That's where I use these. And I like them, I do, but they're not necessary for what we're using this for. Okay. So this is one of the easiest ways to prepare a piping bag. Just like that. And if your hands are clean, you can just stuff your hand in there. My hands are always clean. Okay. This is where assigning a color to your spoon is very important. But I'm going to use a palette knife for this. These are called palette knives, icing knives, whatever people like to call them. All right, I'm going to use the actually, I'm starting with blue first. So we're going to start with blue, and we're just going to spread it on the inside right there. And we're going to get as much as we want, but not enough to crowd the bag. Then we're just going to spread it, just like that. Wipe it thoroughly. and start on the green. And treat the green the same way. Can you see that? Treat the green the same way, just like this. Then wipe thoroughly again. Yellow. Whoop. All right, let's see if we can get a higher view of this. Higher and closer at the same time. So just move in like this. And we're gonna layer in yellow, just like that. And then, same process. Wipe it clean. Then we're back to this. Now, if you have to spread it on the other side, like I'm about to do right now, go ahead and do that. Pink is going to be the color that stands out the most. So, the warmest color is always going to be the color to stand out. Some of the colors will muddle together, just make sure they don't mix too much. Put a little bit of yellow up there at top, because it's a little thin up top. All right. This is how the piping bag should look. You see this? All the different colors. And what I like to do is flip the cup upside down and then squeeze until all the colors are coming out. See? All the colors. All right, now this is not a very full piping bag, so this isn't going to last us very long. But it will be enough, especially to show you guys what I want to accomplish with this. Don't worry, that frosting's not going to be wasted. Alright, I've gathered 3 lovely volunteers. And we're going to get real close up on the camera here. Really close. Alright. And it's going to just like that. See? Perfect. It doesn't have to have the tails up top. Oh, that's actually a little uneven, so we're going to try again. Alright. So, let's get really close. There's a ghost behind me, isn't there? I think his name is Dad.
That's so good.
Alrighty.
That is so cool. Are you done yet?
Nope. Very hungry troll whose name is Dad. There we go. Rainbow cupcakes. Alright, and we're going to do this one more time with a different piping tip. I gotta find it first. Because, me being an unorganized person, should have had it out before I started this whole thing, but I didn't. So, we're all suffering the slings and arrows of my ill-preparedness. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do this with 3 different piping tips. What you about to do?
I'm gonna throw this away right now.
Say hi, Dad.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Hopefully well. Good fortune and blessings.
Thank you, Jen. This tip, I call my scratch tip. We'll be using that one. As a matter of fact, watch me change my mind amid that. We're not using the scratch tip. We're using what I call the spike tip, because look at those. Look at the spikes on this thing. This is a Wilton tip, and it's a 1M tip. This thing is pretty infamous because I've seen so many people like jab their fingers and make themselves bleed on this thing. You have to be careful around some of these piping tips. That's why I call this the scratch tip, because it will scratch your fingers. Alright, and then we're going to use kind of an odd tip. This is a pedal tip. And we're going to use this to make a nice little ruffle design. I don't normally do ruffle designs, so just bear with me on this one, but it pays off in the end because it always looks really pretty. Alright, we're going to layer the bags again. You know what? I'm not going to waste this last bit, though. Let's see if we can get one more swirl here. Let's bring this a little down. Let's see. Yep, just a little bit. There we go. Smooth down that top a little bit. That's the one thing I don't like about this tip in particular, is that it does leave this sort of starry head on top. I'm not exactly a fan of it. But the rest of the frosting does go. Is disposed of. And you don't have to clean out these bags, you just cut the bottom and go soak it. All right. One bag. Two bags. All right. At the risk of having to grab another cup, I'm going to wipe down the bottom of this. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the other cup. No, that's not good. See? That's why it's a spike tip, because it even pokes through the bag. Okay. Mark that. Mark it. Cut it. Stretch it. There we go. All right, let's set these lovely creatures off to the side here. And we're going to do the same with these. as we did with the other ones. Starting with blue. You know what? Actually, we're going to start with pink this time. We're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to start with pink. Whoop. Let's get as much as I can in there. Then with yellow. It seems I misjudged the amount of pink I have just a little bit, but that's okay. That's the beauty of these, is that you can improvise a little bit. Just a little bit more yellow. I want these to be a bit more warm than the other two were. There we go. No.
What?
Nothing. A bit more green. You about to make a quesadilla?
About to make a case of something.
Just don't catch one. I get my puns from you, so don't even give me that sarcastic laughter. Other side. There we go.
I win.
Black.
No. Calling movies again.
Alright. This one's gonna be interesting. Whoop. See how the ruffles have kind of a different quality than the other ones? Okay. Let's grab one more here. All right. Now let's look at these. I believe I have another hungry troll. The hungry troll is back. Now look at how different the swirls are. These are much thinner and these are much wider. Much more like a flower for these. And I also reversed the colors. I'm not getting as much blue as I would like, though. Would you?
No, really, I'm observing this time. Seriously.
Okay. So we're going to look up really close for this. All right. What's up, Neen? Yeah, I'm trying to make sure these look as bright, as colorful as possible. The next one comes the ruffle cupcakes, but we'll have to play those a little bit more by ear. All right, let's see if we can squeeze a little more out of this. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Let's get another super close up. There we go. All right. Now we are doing one more kind. And once again, just snip and soak. I don't like using non-disposable. I will never suggest ever using non-disposable pastry bags. Non-disposable pastry bags take ages to air out and clean. They can even mold if you don't clean them correctly. So we've got our little rainbow armada here. And a little bit of rainbow frosting on my silicone mat.
That really goes for anything that you cannot clean thoroughly.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically about pastry.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's what I mean. Anything that you cook with that you cannot clean thoroughly,
Yeah, it will.
that will retain moisture.
It
Not
will.
good.
Nope. It's not. I don't know why Chef Jean likes them so much. Well, I support you in all your sciencing, Neem. Are you still writing that journal article? Because I see you talk about your grant writing and your journal writing on your Tumblr all the time.
More power to the physicists and the physics. Than the cosmic nature of the universe.
Alright, we're going to grab one more, see if we can get 6 out of this. Sorry for the whispering. Nemo is telling Dad how awesome you are. Okay. Trash that. Alrighty. So, one more cupcake, and then we shall wrap things up. But I want to show you guys one more. Go. Make sure, see, this petal tip is very small. It's the 104 petal tip. This is, all the gifts you guys have seen, all the pictures you guys have seen, you see me use bigger piping tips. I actually don't normally like to use small piping tips. This is really the smallest one that I own, besides maybe the ones I used for the Princess and the Frog cake. And that one might come up on video. I don't know. There were kind of some things happening at the time, and I'm not sure I want to share the video, but we'll see. All right, one more paper towel, and let's make sure it's cleaned thoroughly. Ah! Sorry, I didn't mean to shove the camera there. Let's see, how do we want to do this? I definitely want the pink on the outside, I think. Especially for this application. So, let's do this one more time. And I'm going to use as much as I can here. You okay?
Yeah. Pretty.
Thanks, Mom. You want to take him to work?
I'm not really at the work.
Oh, are you at another school?
I'm at PAC.
What is that?
But the Performing Arts Center.
Oh, excuse me.
You gotta make Miss Butler.
Maybe the eggs weren't whipped properly. Maybe that was the problem. Because it's the same cake I made for you. So I don't know what happened. The Princess and the Frog cake was not as literal as it was. I made a little challenge for myself to do a Princess and the Frog cake without frogs. The endeavor was mildly successful, but there were a lot of complications while I was making the cake. I don't want to say it on video, so just know that there was a lot of family-related issues at the time. So I wanted to kind of hold off on posting that, and maybe even see if I can improve it after some time. Okay. I'm just using the rest of the rainbow frosting for this. Because frankly, using the 104 is a bit it can be a bit frustrating because it's smaller, and it can be a bit of a challenge. All right, there we go. Uno más. All right. Squeeze. Squeeze. All right. This is the difference with this piping tip than with all the other piping tips. Is that it does this. See that?
Yes. Did you tell me?
No. All right. So, I would have to do something like this. Spread just a little bit. And then If you can see my hand shaking a little bit, it's because this is very... It can be very strenuous to work with this piping tip. Just like that. Looks like a bit of a pile. I got it messed up on this side, so let's rectify that. There we go. Just like that. And then there are a lot of other things we can do with this piping tip. For instance,
I think you need some soft lights.
I do too. Looks like a bit too droopy of a flower. But there's more. All right. And then, hang on. Okay, this one is not turning as good as I thought. We'll put that one aside. That'll be the one I eat. But you know what? I really like this one best. This one's my favorite. There we go. All right, we have the big giant rainforest cupcake. Oh, that one looks a little ridiculous, but I like this one. Alrighty. So We'll put these over here because those will be the ones that I'm gonna eat. But that is our rainbow cupcake gamut, so to speak. Alrighty, so for the last bit, do any of you have any questions you want to ask me? As far as baking goes? I mean, I can give you the secret to ultimate power, but then I'd have to kill you. Told you I was gonna eat it. Mm. Alrighty. I didn't realize there was such a delay on the stream. So I will wait patiently. Alright, and as a matter of fact, why don't you guys tell me which one's your favorite? You guys are about to hear me talking to myself again. Hang on. Any questions you want to ask me? As far as baking goes? I mean, I can give you the secret to ultimate power, but then I'd have to kill you. By the way, that warning stands. So far as it stands, these are my favorite. I love these. By the way, I am looking for someone to make some gifts. So if you guys have any gift making experiences, you can let me know. I'll see if I can pay you in something sweet. Or maybe in actual money. Alright. And this one goes to Soak. Where's the bowl where all my piping tips are soaking? Alrighty. If you guys don't have any questions for me, that concludes our stream. A little bit of housekeeping. I won't be... Not yet!
Oh.
If, See? Now you made me lose my train of thought.
That was a housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Wednesday is Persona 5. Wednesday is Persona 5. Thursday is also Persona 5. Those should be happening at around 6 o'clock. And then lastly would be Sunday. That would be Overwatch. We're going to see if Overwatch will be a thing on Sunday. I'm actually going to see if I can download the PC version of it. Some of you have been asking me to. That remains to be seen. We'll see about that. We'll see about it. But that's besides the point. It was lovely doing this the first time. Thank you guys for sticking with me even through the first part of the stream. I know it was a little rough. Special thanks to you, Laura, since you were the first person here, so you get a shout out. Yeah, and that's it. All right, stay weird, lovelies, and happy eating. This is Happy Skull, signing off.